a chance to seal it. It's done. It's Georgie Kelly. Rotherham United's pathway back to the Championship is opening up.
Hello, welcome to New York Talk. This is the Rotherham United podcast. Thank you all for joining us. This is meant to be our international special.
Yay!
International football. That's been derailed, hasn't it? There will be basically no England talk. There will be no Nations League talk. If you want to know about the Nations League, I'm afraid you're going to have to go elsewhere for this week's podcast. Yeah, we'll get into it in a minute. Nick's with us.
Hello.
Danny, how are you doing on a Wednesday? We're recording Wednesday evening tonight.
Yeah, I'm doing all right. Is it time for the emergency podcast alarm yet, lads?
Not yet. The emergency protocol's not been put in place yet, but that may well be a matter of time if it is a regular listener. Thank you all for being with us. So where to start? I suppose where to start is when I text Danny and Mick about 2:30 on Wednesday afternoon going, what should we talk about on tonight's podcast? And then 5 minutes later, literally 5 or 10 minutes later, Alex Crooks from TalkSport reported that Paul Warne was on his way to Huddersfield. Yeah, whatever. We all go collectively. And then as the day progresses, it sort of looks like there may be legs to Paul Warne leaving Rotherham United. And as the day progresses even further, there is growing momentum and growing thought that Paul Warne has gone. The story is he's already agreed to go to Derby County. That's where we are. The amount of people... It's difficult to say it. Nothing's been confirmed, Danny. That's where we stand. Time we're recording, all our notifications are on. If something pops live while we're recording, we will know about it. We will talk about it.
Yes, exactly.
With the noises, Danny, the loudness of the noises, where the noises are coming from, the particular journalists coming from, it feels like it may be true.
I mean, I've seen a lot of people saying, like, he's already gone, and it's like, no, there's some people saying, it was agreed Monday. So if it was agreed Monday, why have we just heard Derby County was interested at 4:00? I mean, it started off at the start of the day of being Huddersfield are interested in him, and then suddenly it's Derby at 4:00, and then suddenly, oh no, it's not Huddersfield anymore. So it's been very, very strange today. And then it comes out that Warne, Barker and Hampshire are going to Portugal for 3 days. So You would have thought that if it's already been done and it was on Monday, then fair enough. But I think this holiday was always booked in, or at least that's what me and Adam Oakley said on Radio Sheffield. Yes, I've been on Radio Sheffield. Hello.
Look at you.
I know, making the big leads now, boys. But that seems like it's always been booked in. So it will be a very strange time for Derby to approach him, and just to go back to the last time Warne, Barker and Hampshire went away with the wives for a little bit of a break, they signed new deals. Because if we remember, they had the picture with the all-inclusive wristband still on. So I don't know. To be fair, I mean, it's not confirmed until the club statement's out or Derby County put something out saying welcome new manager. It's not even confirmed until then. We just know that it's made it to Sky Sports saying that Derby are interested in Paul Warne and he might be their number one choice. But that then falls at the feet of Paul Warne, who could still say to him, no, I'm not interested, actually.
Yeah, that is true. Steve Colton says, nothing official just yet, but Ian Bradley says no smoke without fire. Neil Bolton says, guys, he's already gone, taking Barker and Hampshire with him. Let's discuss who is in caretaker game for the Wigan game. Empowerment UK says, no smoke, just a lot of hot air at the minute. Mick, give us your thoughts on the day so far before we sort of dive deeper into it a little bit.
It's been a bit of a laugh, hasn't it?
Is it?
I mean, well, no, not really. It's been interesting. It's been interesting. Yeah, well, let's delve deeper into it. I've got my views on the situation, but that's all they are, views. Just like everybody else's, they're all just views, because nobody, journalists or otherwise, know the facts. Nobody, with the exception of the people involved. I would have agreed with Ian saying there's no smoke without fire 10 years ago. However, with the advent of social media and media as it is, everybody who's got a finger in the media pie will jump onto everything immediately for the desire to be first. The desire to be first to give a story. Whether it be journalists, I'm not specifically aiming at the conventional media, just everybody in general. Everybody's got a view, and it's all speculation. All of it is speculation. Nobody can come up with a story and then back it up and evidence it. So yeah, it might already be decided. Having said that, if it were already decided, and Huddersfield was saying this morning, or Huddersfield Press was saying this morning, he was going to Huddersfield, and then 2 hours later he's going to Derby. Whether he's going to Burnley tomorrow, who knows? I mean, let's guess. It could be Cardiff on Friday, and by the time he comes back from his holidays, he might not bother coming back. If Benfica are looking for somebody, you know what I mean? It's just speculation, and it's bizarre. It's bizarre to sit back and watch it all unfold in front of your eyes, and people completely losing their heads about rumour, just rumour.
It is, but it's different when it comes to Paul Warne's never had rumour before, ever. But
he's ripe for it now. He's absolutely ripe for it, isn't he?
But that's what I mean. But he's been here 6 years. He's got us promoted before. He's done very good jobs in previous seasons. If it was just rumours and there was no substance behind it, this would have happened 100 times before. This is brand new for Paul Warne. It's never really been linked anywhere with anything like we've seen at the minute. Not even a little bit.
Listen, I'm not saying there's no truth in it.
Yeah,
That's not what I'm saying. What I'm saying is all we're doing is speculating. Everybody, including the journalists involved, are speculating. With the exception of Paul Davis. He's not speculating. He's just reporting. He's doing a journalist job. He's reporting the facts, which is so rare nowadays. It's ridiculous. He's reporting.
He did, but there was one telling line in the article he put out, basically saying that it would be difficult for Paul Warne to turn down, which was a telling line. If anybody knows, Paul Davis knows, doesn't he?
It's an opinion, though, isn't it? Ultimately,
it is an opinion, but
you're
my opinion on that.
Get the tinfoil hats.
My opinion on Paul Davis would be that he wouldn't write something like that unless he was in the. He's in the know, realistically, and if anybody is, it's him.
It's an opinion that everybody outside the supporter base of Rotherham United would probably share. You know, they are a big club in inverted commas. They're also a big mess. A Derby. Huddersfield are not a big club, but appear to be in a bit of a mess financially. So who knows? Who knows? Maybe it's true. Maybe he's already signed his deal and gone on holiday celebrating. Maybe he hasn't. Nobody knows, do they?
No, not yet. I've heard from Derby, a Derby source, Derby podcast, saying that they've heard that Paul Warne is in Derby tonight. Again, pinches of salt.
Yeah, I've seen that comment as well. Apparently, he's in like a Lidl in Derby or something. That's what I've heard. And he's heard that from someone who works there, which is a bit. Anyway.
Brian Vernon says silence is deafening from our club. Yeah, I don't like that.
I mean, not really. They're just not going to comment on it, which is what they do. Because at this stage, it's all speculation. That's all it is. So why would they comment on speculation?
What are they going to say?
Exactly. It's like them commenting on the Cole Stockton situation. They're not going to say anything officially, are they?
Yeah, but signing the players different to your manager, innit? If there was zero in it, if there was zero nothing in it, then they could. I'm not saying they should. And our club is.
If there's nothing in it, why would they comment on it? Because if they know it's not true, then they're just making rods for their own back by commenting on it.
Yeah.
That's not to say that Derby haven't made an approach.
No, absolutely. Yeah.
Derby may have made an approach and be offering stupid money in compensation. I mean, they ain't got it, so I mean, it'd be stupid to accept it, like. But
have you seen the numbers banded around for compensation?
I haven't.
Between 800k and £1 million.
I'm not. Again,
I don't buy that either.
Well, it's exactly. I mean, we'll start at one ourselves, and it's they're going to give 50p and a big full box of Freddos, not just one, but a family pack of Freddos. You couldn't turn it down.
Yeah, what I will say for Rotherham United, we don't come out and quash rumours, confirm rumours. It's just not the way we work. As much as we say, I say, yeah, it'd be nice for them to quash it if it wasn't true. That's not how they work anyway. So for them, the club not to say anything is not really news. I agree. It's not really news. Gerald Simpson asked a question which we may not be able to answer, but we'll give it a go. How realistic do we think it is that this Derby rumour is true, Danny? I'll start with you, mate. If you had to give your 50p bet based on the information you have, do you think he will go?
No.
Ooh, I like it. I like the
it's strange. Like I had this discussion earlier when it was just starting to break. This is I think before it even broke on Sky News, and it was just starting to bubble up on Twitter. You look at the situation that Derby have been in. Warren's comments after they stayed up and we went down, plus the fact that he's not got his own squad to mould and doesn't have the good human being aspect completely with Derby. It's just like you try and put those three together and it just doesn't quite add up why he'd go. And for me, Warren isn't the sort of bloke to just chase money. He's the sort of bloke to think about it logically and really evaluate it and not just jump ship for money like a certain two players who've left us. So for me, it just doesn't quite add up. I will admit I'm wrong. If he does go to Derby, I'll be honest and go, right, I misread it. But for me, it just doesn't sit right why he'd go, if that makes sense.
Yeah, I get what you're saying. The only reason I could think Danny Mick is if he feels like his potential let down. We know the contract talks were meant to start now for the two players out of contract around Ben Wiles. But there has been talk that this has been ongoing for some time from the Derby end, that they inquired in the summer, and that appeared to have been shut down. I don't really get the step down to the Derby's a massive club. That's not, this isn't a slight at Derby. They've got some amazing players this year as well. Their recruitment's been brilliant. They brought in some really, really good players. And Paul Warren could probably get that team promoted. But he's just been through all that last season. And we all heard how much it took out of him on the Moment of Truth podcast to go through that. So it would surprise me, based on what everything we heard on that podcast, it would surprise me if you went there.
Yeah, and not only that, the pressure at Derby County is going to be much, much greater than the pressure at Rotherham United. Much greater. So I don't know whether to believe it or not. I'm pretty gullible, quite frankly, and I often read stuff and think, oh, that must be true, But there's no evidence to back up any of these rumours. No evidence whatsoever. People are putting in the comments, people are putting on social media, he's already gone, he's signed a deal, he's done it, with no evidence at all, zero, zilch. I've heard it from, next to us, mothers, cats, sisters, owners, brother, who once drove past Pride Park 20 years ago. It's just nonsense. It is nonsense. And until you hear it from the horse's mouth, you can't believe any of the stuff that you read. It may be true. I'm not saying it's not true. I'm not saying there's not an element of truth within it, but I've seen zero evidence from anybody at all that there's any substance to any of these rumours. None. So, what question? Because I just answered the first question all over again.
I think you have. Yeah, I asked if you think it could happen. Do you think it will happen?
I genuinely, I was thinking about it while Danny was talking. I don't know. May do, may not. I don't think it'd be the right move for him. I'm all for him moving on. If he wants to move on, absolutely. I wouldn't begrudge him that whatsoever. And if he moves to Derby, I won't begrudge it him. It's up to him. You know, if he feels that that's the right move. Looking from the outside and knowing as little as I do about Derby County, it would appear for me that it's not the right move. Yeah, they're a big club, but they are absolutely in transition from being a complete financial wreck, a complete disaster financially. Nobody knows what the future holds for them at the moment in terms of finance. So I don't know. It wouldn't be the right move for me. There will be bigger and better clubs, bigger and better placed clubs interested in, particularly at the end of the season if he keeps us in this division. So I don't know. I don't know. Is my answer. I don't know whether I'll go or not.
My point would be for Derby. It's a bit like, as I mentioned to somebody else, I think a Huddersfield fan, that if you go to somebody like Derby in League One, it's the same as going to Sunderland. The risk in taking over that job is monumental because it's a big club with a big fan base. If you get it wrong, they will be on you from second one. But if you get it right, at a club like Derby, a club like Sunderland, the sky's the limit. They're Premier League clubs in waiting. Now this is a big if. If somebody said to you, right, you can take over this company that's been not doing very, very well, but it's got the potential to be a brilliant company, you would potentially take that risk. And Derby have that potential now. Will they fulfill it? I don't know, but it's not going to, I don't know, Fleetwood or something. It's going to a club that has potential and a new owner who is sort of saying, I'm going to back whoever I get in to do it. So there is potential.
Yeah.
That might be a selling point for Paul Warne, that there is a big project there, a very big project, if it all goes well.
Yeah, and what happens if it doesn't go well?
Well, exactly. That's the point. It's a risk because it's either the highs of, wherever it could go, or it could be sacked in 10 games, knowing clubs like Derby County.
Yeah, exactly. Absolutely. Absolutely. And that's precisely the point. Paul Warne is not good. If assuming Paul Warne has been already given the job at Derby and is already a Derby County employee, as Twitter would have us believe, or someone on Twitter would have us believe, clock's ticking already. If he goes in there and loses his first 6 games, or don't get 18 points from first 6 games or whatever, the pressure will be on more than the pressure was on last year at this club. Absolutely, it will. I don't know. We'll see. We'll see what happens, won't we? But if he does go, the next time I drive down Kimberworth Hill, New York Stadium will still be there, and they'll still be playing football at it, and I'll still be going. It doesn't make a huge amount of difference. It's not ideal by any stretch of imagination, but it wouldn't
make a difference to the club, but it would be. It's not a nice thought thinking of it without Paul Warne, is it, at the minute?
No, it's not. No, but that's life.
Yeah. Will Daniels could argue that the pressure at Rotherham would be equal to Derby. This is his club. We've given him so much as a player and manager. He doesn't want to let people down. They've been good to him. Yeah, I agree with that, Danny. But what I would also say to that is that's what I think makes Paul Warne the manager he is. Because he's got that connection, because he cares about it so much. And it won't be forced. I don't know how to say it really, but he doesn't have that instant connection with Derby County that he has with us. So I don't know if that will make the job harder for him, easier for him, because he's not too stressed, not too weighed down with the stress. But it's going to be a different challenge completely if he takes it.
Yeah, I think so. I think it'll be like Will said, a similar level of pressure, but a different kind of pressure at Derby, because they're a club that are itching to get out of League One, aren't they? And it's not gone too well for them. I mean, they're 8th at the time being. I mean, I'd be happy with 8th at this point in the season. Like,
we are
8th size, but they're not happy with it, and they want someone who's a certified promotion winner from League One, which Paul Warne is, to give him credit. But can he do it at Derby? I think that he's a lot more under pressure at Derby because, you know, the board will want instant success. The players will be itching for instant success with a new manager. So it might be a different kind of pressure that might result in maybe a 3 or 4 game loss winning streak, and he's out the door because he's not. I don't think he's the guy to do it. I think the instant success of it all is a lot higher on the agenda at Derby than it is with Rotherham. I think this season we've been doing so well that why would you go? You know, if you've got Rotherham to 8th in the Championship, our best start to a Championship season in 20 years, why would you go? You're on like the edge of, this is what I said on Radio Sheffield, you're on the edge of greatness this season. Why would you stop when the job's not even half done?
Yeah. Paul Brock says it's so warming to see so many fans of other clubs saying how good, underrated Paul Warne is, saying he's our manager. We'll be sad to see him go if he does. Great position and person. Darren J says Warne is very intelligent and he knows he is better staying with us. Just look at how other clubs sack their managers. That's the risk tip we just mentioned. If you go in as the man who gets promotions and you don't get a promotion, who are you? What do you do? Where are we? We've got loads of people coming in, as you say. Reece Middleton says money. The only reason anybody goes, so does Sam Darby, says money as well.
Would Warne go for money, though? He doesn't strike me as the sort of character to do that.
It depends on cash, doesn't it? If somebody says double your wages, then it's a different conversation. If somebody just adds a...
I mean, if he's on Wayne Rooney's sort of money at Derby, then I can see that happening. But he won't be, will he? No, he won't be.
32 Red's still part of Derby County.
I wouldn't have thought so.
Paul Warne gets the 32 number 32 shirt, gets to play football again.
John Morrell says, Birmingham fan says, even if Derby got promoted this season, he wouldn't be in the top 10 the following season. If he wasn't in the top 10 the following season in the Championship, he'd be back in the job centre. He thinks the only incentive for this kind of moves is wages. A lot of people. Let's talk about the motives behind it, Danny. We talk about money. That's fine. People think it's money. If it's money, that's fine. There is a theory on social media and everywhere. It's always a good one on social media.
Hang on a minute. Hang on. If the motive is money, that's a good one. That's all right. But if the motive was money for Smithy and Nicky going to Hillsborough, that weren't all right.
I would say that was people's theories.
Yeah, but the same people have it both ways.
The argument would be that Paul Warne has given much more to us as a club than them two did. Significantly more.
Yeah, I'm not wearing that.
No?
No. I'm not saying he hasn't.
Oh, right.
I'm saying I'm not wearing that as an excuse for double standards. If you're leaving for money, you're leaving for money. End of.
Okay.
Well, it is, isn't it? You can't have it both ways.
Well, you can't you? You said Paul Warne's deserved to do whatever he wants.
Well, all right. Well, whatever.
Anyway.
No, I'm not wearing that, but...
Other people are saying, Danny, that the motivation behind him leaving is that he hasn't been backed. We missed out on multiple transfers in the summer, as we always do, because we're Rotherham United. And now this comes at a time when Paul once talked about the contract talks of the players we mentioned, Barlasser and Chio, being the big ones, big names. Where do you think that sort of stands? Because he's not fighting one arm tied behind his back, but he's fighting with the budget that Rotherham United have got. Do you think there's a point where that becomes too much of a frustration, constantly missing out on people like Smith and Nicky and others?
No, not really, because it's just part and parcel of football. Yeah, we miss out on some people. Sometimes it's other clubs that have spoken to them and convinced them to join there. Sometimes it's down to purely the other clubs offered more money. And with the way our club is set up, it's not a case of Tony Stewart throwing more money at it. It's keeping the club within what's it called now? financial fair play. That's the new thing in football. Keep us within financial fair play, which is why we can't be offering players 15 grand a week, because then everybody wants to be on 15 grand a week. And then because we're only getting an average of just over 8k at home, we can't offer players 8k a week unless we get a new revenue stream through different sponsors or merchandise or whatever, which is what we don't have, which is why we can't offer some players more money, which is why they go elsewhere. It's nothing to do with Paul Warne or the backing and everything. Like, I don't think we've got someone like Cameron Humphreys by paying him peanuts. You know, he'd have been on all right money in the Belgian league. Same with Lee Pelty. I don't think he'll have dropped his wage massively. So I don't think it's a case of lack of investment. I think it's just how football is now. You know?
So we have a tweet from John Percy, who works for the Telegraph, who has been on top of all derby stuff all summer in the last 3 minutes. Paul Warne is set to become the new Derby County manager. A deal has been agreed with Rotherham, only few minor details to finalise.
Wow, that's moved quickly for today, hasn't it?
Very quickly. Again, that's, I said his name, I've just put my phone down now, sorry. What did I say? John Percy from the Telegraph. Again, it's been all over the takeover in the summer, all over the things like that. So it looks like that's literally 3 minutes ago that tweet was put out. So it looks like things may have taken a step forward.
We said that. How many false dawns were there? The Derby takeover that were reported as fact in the press.
Signing the manager is much more complex than it though. Signing the manager is much less complex. Sorry.
Well,
yeah,
let's
John
wait and
Rell.
see.
If it's come from John Percy, probably, yeah, it's a done deal. Let me just make sure it's his proper account. Yeah, blue tick.
Oh, that's all right
then. So there we go. That's where we are. Again, no official confirmation, but that's as good as we're going to get for the time being, I think. Don't know where we go from there.
And I filled the room.
Am I allowed to swear for this one, lads?
No.
Yeah. Go on then. We might as well just assume it's happened, Mick. We're there.
Listen, I'm not assuming anything. I won't, and I'm not. Listen, I'm not being a sort of I'm not denying anything or anything like that. Once there's an official announcement, then I'll believe it. I've no evidence to point me in the direction that any of the stuff that I've been told is true. None of it has come from people in the know. It's come from journalists and other people speculating. I've no evidence, so whatever. If that's the case, that's the case. If he's gone, he's gone. We move on. Good luck to him. I hope everything works out for him, because he's a fantastic bloke, great manager, great personality, and everything else. And I hope it all works out for him. If it has, that's fine. Whatever. We move on. If he hasn't, happy days. We move on to Wigan and everything stays the same. You know what I mean? But until it's announced officially, that's it. I'll believe it then. What else?
Okay. That's not helpful.
I'm sorry, but what would you like me to do? I missed the script, and you never emailed me the script.
Yeah. Let's see what we've got in the comments. Nicholas Camo says, who do we want to replace him? We may not come into that. We may get onto that later on, to be honest with you. I don't know at the moment. We'll see where that comes from. Neil Bolton suggests that Hammy and Barker will be going as well. That's the rumour that I've been hearing most of the day. But there has been talk that Matt Hamshaw had been essentially offered the job to stay, but obviously that's not confirmed, because it can't be confirmed until go from there. Andy Wignall, great question. Will our present fitness coach take over? Now, like you're thinking there, Andy, because the last fitness coach did okay. I don't know who our fitness coach is, Danny. Any ideas?
Good question. That's worth a quick Google, isn't it? It don't actually say. Manager, assistant manager, goalkeeping coach, first team coach, head of academy, head of performance, head of medical, physio, talent, scout. Oh no, we're into scouting now, aren't we? I would imagine first team coach and head of academy coaching. I don't know. You know what? I actually don't know who our current fitness coach is. That's really bad.
Yeah.
I don't think it's really that relevant, is it? Let's be fair.
No.
I don't think he's going to be getting a job.
You never know.
Don't.
Let's talk about timing, Mick. Let's talk about the timing of it. Now, the best time, in theory, the best time to appoint a new manager is before the international break starts. Because you've got 2 weeks. 2 weeks with the players. We now potentially find ourselves in a situation where we're having to scramble to find a manager ahead of the Wigan game because it's Saturday, Tuesday, all the way into the World Cup. I think we've got one spare midweek. So there's going to be no coaching as such involved in that period. It's not really an ideal time to be looking for a manager, I don't think.
No, it's not.
Before you start, sorry, Will Daniels, you're right, Stephen Gilpin.
Of course it is, yeah.
It is.
Yeah. Well, I mean, if he's gone, well, it's not a great time for us to be looking for a manager. You're absolutely right, but we've got a player who could be a player manager for an interim, haven't we? So
yeah.
Take that as you want to take it, but it depends. It depends. If Warney's gone, it depends who goes with him. If Matt Hamshaw does go with him, Richie Barker, I don't think would stay without Warney. Bearing in mind he lives in Brighton, that would just be mad. So it depends whether Matt Hamshaw stays or not. But we'll see. We'll see what happens. It's going to be interesting.
Danny, your thoughts on timings and stuff?
I think it's poor timing, to be fair. I thought this was Warney's season to keep us in the Championship and really push us on. But, if he wants to relegate himself down to League One again before Rotherham get relegated, that's his choice.
Yeah. I like this one. Who's put Gary Monk? John Morrell. Gary Monk would be perfect for us. That's a lot of baggage.
I've heard a rumour that we were going for Darren Moore.
Have you?
I've heard a rumour that this was a plan all along.
Stop it.
Getting to sign our two best players, and then our two best players turn out to be crap, and they get him sacked and they come to us. That's what I heard.
Yeah. JLM Simpson says she can't imagine Paul Warne not at the helm because she's a relatively new fan. Worried about the knock-on effect to backroom staff, recruitment, the players. Lots of them need to sign this year, not the big three. Three makes them prime for the taking. Yeah, that has a lot of questions, Danny, because again we're assuming it's gone through, but Brooke Norton-Cuffy's come to the club from Arsenal because of Paul Warne. Connor Washington, for example, signed for the club because Paul Warne signed him for the Championship. I'm not sure any of the Championship clubs would have signed Connor Washington. Paul Warne signed him for the Championship. There's probably other players that have signed for Paul Warne rather than the club itself. I mean, it's football. You expect to change your manager, but it's so unexpected because it's just kind of impact on those players as well.
Yeah, I think the majority of the current squad have signed because of the way Paul Warne spoke to them and how he sold the club to him. So I don't know. At the end, that might convince some players not to sign new deals, and we could be in for a max exodus, either to make money in January or at the end of the season. Which is a shame because, like I've already said, I wanted Warney to at least see out this season and then go from there. Because that seems like not the right thing to do, but almost like the logical thing to do. See out this season. If it's all right, then it adds a different element to it. But if he were to go down, then then that's him taking as far as he can. But I don't think he has. I really don't think Warney took. If he has gone, that is, I don't think he took us as far as he could. Because this start to the season just showed something else was just starting to brew. But if he goes to Derby, it's as if he's just took it off the boil. And then like I can see Chio leaving, Barlas leaving, and probably Wiles leaving, maybe even in January if Warney goes. And maybe Brooke Norton-Cuffy goes back to Arsenal because, like I say, Warney was one of the main convincers, if you like, for him to come to us. Yeah, just a bit of a kick in the teeth, really, isn't it?
Yeah. Yes, it is. Big fat kick in the gut. People have mentioned Richard Wood. Now, he's a very obvious one, Mick.
Yes, Woody player manager. Let's go.
I would,
Next,
I
Emily
would,
Hughes.
I would buzz him for a player manager. It's old school. I love the idea of a player manager. I do love it. But I don't think it's right time for Richard Wood. I think he's playing very, very well. I think he's enjoying his football. I don't think the time's right for Richard Wood to step into maybe a caretaker role, maybe different. But then you go into a caretaker role, how easy is it to step back down back into the playing squad? So I personally don't think the time's right for Richard Wood, should that come.
I don't know. It is very, very old school, isn't it? Player manager and all that. But yeah, I think he's certainly one for the future. I think he will go into management.
Yeah.
He's in the right place. He's got all the players' ears. If he got the right assistants, I think it's a job he could certainly do in the very short term. So I wouldn't dismiss it. I wouldn't dismiss it out of hand at all. Don't know. It's a tough one, that, but it will be there sooner or later, I'm sure.
Yeah.
Woody.
Will Daniels asks an interesting point in terms of going forward for the club. Do we need a director of football or somebody who sits between the owner and the management, providing football expertise, help the manager, help the recruitment? Neil Warnock remotely, perhaps. Yeah, I think director of football is a way to go in modern football. The problem you have is it's not going to happen now. You can't bring in a director of football this week and the process works straight away. Although I do like directors of football. What could work is you convince Warnock to take us till end of season, and then during that time, you then have time to get a proper director of football in, or if there's rumours Rob Scott might even go to Derby. So if that happens,
Jesus Christ,
that might be nothing, but that's a rumour. Then you may need to restructure the whole club, because as much as we love Paul Warne, we can't. If that's going to be the case, Paul Warne was almost unique that he stayed for so long, Danny. We're not going to get another 6 years out of another manager, are we? So we need to be prepared for changes of manager on a more regular basis, which is how a director of football could fit into a future plan.
Yeah, I like the idea of a Warnock coming in and doing it. That'd be fantastic. But yeah, like you say, a lot of clubs have directors of football now, and it's just like that stopgap, if you like, between the chairman and the manager. Yeah, like I say, I don't think we'll have another 6-year manager for a very, very long time. I think Warne is our 8th longest serving manager in terms of games managed, which is some record, to be fair, to be within the top 10 for games managed. Just being honest, lads, I'm a bit lost for words because I honestly think he won't go.
He's not gone yet, mate.
I know, but from the noise being said, it's just like, oh, for Christ's sake.
Yeah. We could list the people that signed for him. I'm like this one. Brian Vernon says, "Please God, not Gareth Ainsworth." Gareth Ainsworth has already been linked. Paul hasn't gone yet, and Gareth Ainsworth's been linked after the stuff that we said last season on this podcast. Gareth Ainsworth. I don't think that'd be a good idea, but we don't know. Paul Brock, our newfound love, Carl Robinson. That could work.
I can't believe I'm going to say this, but I do like the sound of that. I can't believe I'm saying it. I can't believe those words have come out of my mouth. Danny, are you all right, mate? Do you need a hug?
Nah, I'm good.
Are you sure?
Yeah, just one of my mates has messaged me saying, "Hate to break the news, but Warney has gone." And someone at the club, it's like, oh well. But yeah, Robinson. I'd be happy with Robinson.
Yeah. John Morrell again rightly points out plenty of good points from John Morrell tonight. The next appointment is a huge sign if your owners are serious about staying up this season. If you gamble on an experienced manager, that would say it all for him. True, but then you could say somebody else put up here. What about Michael Carrick or Duncan Ferguson? Would one of those? First of all, I don't think they'd come because I don't think they'd come to Rotherham United because it's not sexy enough. But we've tried that before. We tried Alan Stubbs, who was a young, exciting manager at the time. That couldn't have gone any worse.
Yeah, but that was his fault. That was purely and simply down to him and his personality, weren't it? He was clearly not cut out for management.
No, he's not cut out for much. If you heard him on punditry. Whew.
Well, yeah. I mean, the lad wanted to stay in football, didn't he? And maybe he was one of these people that we've all seen at work that can talk a good job, gets promoted and can't actually do jobbing. You know what I mean? Gets promoted to a gaffer and struggles to supervise his own way out at door. So that was Stubbs. So we'll have to wait and see. It's going to be an interesting few days, this, isn't it? Very, very interesting few days.
Carrie Arneson is a suggestion by JB. I think Carrie's not their manager. I think when we spoke to him, we were going to be director of football, Mick.
I think he was, yeah. I don't think it was. I don't think he was going to be manager. But,
yeah, certainly hierarchy of that club, which could still work. There's a comment here from Nandy, which we'll just mention it. He says that if 4-1's jumped ship, he has let the fans down. I'm struggling. I'm struggling a little bit because we're sort of in the moment of it, and I get people upset and angry about it. But I still stand by what I said earlier, that I think Paul Warren sort of earned the right to do whatever he wants next. I agree with what Danny said earlier on about it. It would be nice to finish the job. And I see what Nardendi is saying about that. But he's got to put himself first. For his life, he's more important to himself than the club is to himself, his family as well, and everything like that. It's frustrating and it's sad, genuinely a sad day for the club to lose a legend like Paul Warren is, like the day when Ronnie Moore left. It was a sad day, but it does happen, and we knew it was going to happen eventually. Mick, so do you think he's let the fans?
No, I don't. Absolutely not. Absolutely not. I think after the way we were treated by some fans last year, I'm amazed they even came back after close season, quite frankly. So, and I don't include everybody in that, obviously, but a certain section of our support. All will be, I'm sure, all over social media calling him names for leaving, the same people. So I absolutely agree with you, Matt. When it comes to football management, football players, they do what is right for them and their family, ultimately, first and foremost. And that comes above everything, no matter how long you've been at a club and same for everybody in every walk of life, no matter how long you've been in a job, how much service you've given to whoever you work for. If something better for you and your family comes along, you're always going to think about it and ultimately probably take it. So, it is what it is. It is, and I don't think he's let anybody down if he goes. I think he's probably letting himself down going to a club like that in the situation that they are in. But we don't know the background to that, so that's not in any way a dig at Derby County. We can only go on what we've seen in the past, of the very, very recent past, in the way that club's been run and then come out of that. It's been a shambles from start to finish. So whether that's changed or not, don't know, but we'll see.
Yeah, Lee Curtis from the Derby Telegraph, so the local press, are now reporting that it's basically it's now a very close deal as well. So the local press.
Just had a text from somebody who who's very, very close, or knows is with somebody who's very close to the club, to say that he's gone to Derby. I don't know that it's third hand. I know who's texting me. I don't know the source it's come from, but I know it's somebody close to the club. We'll see.
It's a deadline day, this. I've got a text. I've got a text.
More like Love Island, knowing us, Jesus. I've got a text.
Anyway, listen, if he's gone, hasn't he?
Yeah, I think we've got to be very careful about sort of turning his nose up. Derby County is a massive club. Yes, they've had the financial issues, but they've got a fresh start. Look at Wigan last season. They had a fresh start after administration. Look at the money that can be pumped in at this time. I don't think you can be good. Going to Derby is much more attractive than going to Huddersfield right now.
Yeah.
I think we've got to be careful. Just because it's League One, I think you've got to be very careful about the opportunity that is being given.
That's. I agree with you, Matt, and that's not the point I was trying to make. What I was trying to say to you is that because of the proximity of Derby coming out of the financial shambles that they were in, that's not to say that everything has changed and everything is rosy in the Derby County Garden. So we'll see.
If rumours to believe they've been interested in him since the summer, this guy that's come in has been interested in Paul since the summer, if rumours are to be believed. So maybe that's more of a pull. He's been wanted for so long. Danny, just go back into the comment about, has Paul Warne let the fans down?
I can see why some people would think that. Leave us 8 in the Championship, good start, and then, right, see you later. But you have to remember what Warne has done with the club. He's never just let us just sit happily in League One. He's always pushed to go back up, and every time it's paid off for him. He's not quite cracked the Championship with us yet. But like I said before, I thought this season would be the season. And he won us a cup last season as well. So he has done a very good job with us. And I think when the history books do get written, this time in the club's history will be called the Warne years, where we had 6 years of doing really well in League One, not quite cracking the Championship, but also winning a cup along the way. And this is another thing I said on Radio Sheffield, a person who comes in needs to have the same or a similar ethos as Paul Warne, because he's been able to get the best out of these players with almost being a teacher rather than a manager. So he's like more of a man manager, getting the best out of them. If you've got any issues, come and see me, and not shying away from any personal issues that were affecting the players as well as issues on the football pitch. We need someone like that to come in, because that's probably how we see out the rest of the season as strongly as we can.
Yeah. I suppose we'll finish for now, because we're just talking about the same old nonsense. We'll sort of come back another time when things have sort of settled down a little bit, when there's maybe names gone into it. I suppose we'll finish by saying we're assuming it's done. That's where we are now. We're sort of assuming the deal's been done. Paul Warne appears to be not Rotherham United manager. It appears to be not related to Rotherham United, which seems crazy. Going back all the years. I think it's since '99 has he been here every year except for 4 years when he went to Yeovil and Oldham. And to be honest with you, I'm sure this is not the last we'll see of him. It wouldn't surprise me to see Paul Warne back in 2 or 3 years' time. Absolutely wouldn't surprise me. This is still his club. And yeah, I don't really know what else to say at this point.
Yeah, it's still his club, but I hope he gets sunburnt on holiday. I'm kidding. I didn't mean that. I'm kidding.
Yeah. Love Paul Warne. Always love Paul Warne. We'll always love Paul Warne. Wish him the best. I hope he gets to the Premier League with Derby County. I think he can. If they allow him that opportunity, we'll get to the Premier League with Derby County. Will they allow him? That's the question. And I hope he does. Will he? We'll see. Mick.
Yeah.
The Cardiff podcast. Would you say this is harder than the Cardiff podcast, or easier? The post-Cardiff game.
Yeah, that was much more difficult. That was much more difficult because ultimately it's just a chance to move on to something else, something different. It is an opportunity. It presents an opportunity. So yeah, it's difficult to lose somebody like that. Absolutely, it is. For all the years that he's committed to this football club, all the good times that he's given us over the last 6 years, and there have been some unbelievable times. There's been some down times, but yeah, some of the best times we've ever had watching football. So it goes, if he is going to go, he goes with our best wishes, or certainly my best wishes. But it opens up an opportunity for us as a club to move on, find somebody else. I noticed in the comments earlier on that somebody mentioned, I think it might have been Will, Mark Bonner at Cambridge. Yeah. Is it Cambridge? Good call. Good shout.
He's a Cambridge fan.
Exactly.
It's the Paul
exactly.
Warne.
Paul Warne Mark II.
Yeah.
let's see what happens. Let's see whether there is an official announcement. Everything's pointed towards the fact that there is going to be, although all these rumours might all be coming from the same place, and that's some bloke sat in front of a keyboard like this, somewhere in a dark room in Derby. Who knows? We'll wait and see.
Yeah. Steve Adams, I'll finish with this one. Steve Adams says, good luck, Paul Warne, wherever you are. And that sounds a bit soppy, but I mean that. Danny, final words, anything you want to add?
Probably, Warney brought the club out of a stinky patch, should I say, in the 16-17 season. He did his best with that job and turned the club around into a force in League One and very, very nearly got us steady in the Championship. So he'll go down as one of the best managers in the club's history, I think.
Yeah, 100%. 100%.
Not quite Ronnie Moore, but he's up
there. We will be back, I don't know when. Sunday at the latest. Sunday evening, Monday morning with the podcast. That's at the latest. I don't know if the emergency protocol podcast will get a click to comment.
I'm going to say it might be tomorrow if the emergency protocol is met.
The problem is we've got something on tomorrow.
Oh, yeah. God, we do, don't we? Oh,
we're speaking to a former Rotherham player tomorrow.
If he gets in house whilst we're speaking to this former Rotherham player, I will be fuming.
We will ask the former Rotherham player all about this because he knows Paul Warne. Yeah, that'll be out in a few weeks' time. Maybe it's not the right time to release an episode like that. Over the next week or so, if we need points me next week, maybe we're doing 4 episodes in the next week. So keep an eye on the socials for all our emergency podcasts that may or may not come out of the next week or so. The standard
one for Warner leaving, one for appointing a new manager.
Yeah, exactly.
One for him getting sacked, and then Wigan preview again.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Thank you, everybody. Please, if you joined us the first time, please subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. Follow us on Twitter, Facebook. Subscribe on the audio, iTunes, Spotify, wherever you are. Go and have a sit down. Go watch some telly, have a beer or tea or whatever. And thank you for watching and listening.
Ravel, vicious, but brilliant. Mule with it. Wood's got round the back, and Richie Wood has done it again. The magic man has come up with another trick. Well, here's a chance to seal it. It's done.